What's good, family? Want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Grown Pains, the #1 place for melanated people like me who are looking to acquire real estate. So if it's your first time here, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, and join the family because we are over here growing, and not only growing, but we're looking to thrive, right? No more years of survival. We are looking to thrive, and in order to thrive, we need to work together, grow together, do for each other. So that's what it comes down to, right? Sharing the right knowledge and continuing to help each other to get ourselves in a better place. But it also takes self-improvement as well. So definitely do the necessary work for yourself. But we want to make sure that we're helping each other to do better, to grow, and get out of this situation that we weren't put in, that we didn't put ourselves into. But we do to this day continue to kind of help this kind of pattern of being at the bottom. We've been so influenced, so manipulated, that we have generations of people who just view things for what it is and continue to follow down the line of what they see as norms. And it's not normal for the majority of what the shit we deal with. Every day we are at war. So truly what we want to do is help each other to do better so that we are changing the direction of those behind us, those family members, those kids. We just want to make sure that we're doing better so that they are living a better life, and if possible we can live our heaven on earth as well, because that's what I'm thriving for. Listen, I mean, God bless you all, whatever you may believe in, but at the end of the day, I'm living my heaven on earth. I'm not waiting until I die, and I'm not promised tomorrow either. So, but anyways, let's get back to the channel. Let's get back to the episode. I might go on a rant sometimes, so I apologize. But basically, today we're talking about the BPO, broker priced opinion, understanding numbers so that we can make the best decision to make the best purchase and make the best offer, right? When it comes to numbers, actually right today, you see behind me, I'm actually in one of my renovated units. And even with this property, I think about $16,000 to renovate this place. And based off of the purchase price and all that was done, almost a year later, and the property is worth almost about $90,000 more than what I purchased it for, right? So that equity is there. I was able to not only capture that equity, but I was also able to pull my funds out that I originally put in to purchase the property. And now the property just sits in cash flows. So that's the benefit, right? And to have those funds in a rainy day, we can pull those out and invest more, right? So those are the types of things we're trying to do here. That's how we're acquiring wealth with real estate. And there's really not one way to do this. So there is not one avenue, one lane. It's really all that what you're used to, or what you're comfortable with, I should say. My apologies. What you're comfortable with, and from there, taking the leap, taking the action. Understanding that you need to get the knowledge, and then from there taking the action, not to be in this fearful mode, right? And understanding that fear is a part of success. It goes hand in hand, like yin and yang. It's necessary. So don't fear failure. Be willing to leap, but make sure you do the necessary work so that you can limit the risk. And that's pretty much it. So today, talking about understanding the numbers, understanding the ARV, and that's where we're at today. So stay tuned.
What's good, family? Want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Grown Pains, the #1 place for melanated people like me. We're looking to acquire real estate. So if it's your first time here, stay tuned, stay focused, and let's get to these numbers. Today we're going to be breaking it down how to get a what you could call a BPO, a broker's price opinion, but it would be yours without the license. You get what I'm saying? So basically, we're going to be using resources like the internet and a website called Zillow, and breaking down how we can get a rough estimate of what a property is currently worth, and that to current market. So stay tuned. What's up, family? So we are based out of Connecticut here. So we will be using the state's capital, Hartford, Connecticut, as the reference for the property we'll be looking. As you see here, Zillow gives you multitude of things, like a lot of information on the subject property, breaking it down from the year it was built down to the lot size, as well as even taxes. So definitely something that could help you out when reviewing things. Here you see there we have the Zillow's estimate, which is basically Zillow's guesstimate of approximately what the property is worth. I would just highly suggest not using that as your value, because they're using comparables that might not actually make sense, and it definitely needs to make sense. So we want to make sure we're actually doing our own numbers, and that's what we'll be doing here today. So just taking a quick look as we scroll up here. Looking at the Zillow app, you have different tabs and menus to get to different things. So right now we are looking at the buyer side of basically for sale properties in this location. Um, right now this is the subject property, which is the green dot. You want to hit this tab here and go to sold properties, and as you see here, it'll film through a bunch of sold properties in that dates range from far back years ago till now. So we're gonna definitely have to filter through. As you see, I zoomed in a little bit because we predominantly like to stay within a 1 mile radius. Sometimes brokers, or I mean appraisers, will stretch out. As you see here, I'm also minimizing the tabs, and I'm getting more descriptive so we don't have a bunch of on properties that don't actually make sense to the property we're comparing it to. So as you see here, I went through the tabs and made the exact amount of bedrooms, baths as well. Sometimes you can even go as far as doing the square footage, different things like that. But usually I like to stay within a 6 to maybe 800 range of square footage difference. As you see here, this subject property would be the first one we'll be comparing 36 Monroe to. So this one here is 440 Hillside Ave. My apologies. And with this one here, just looking at the reference, it's stating that it sold back in March of 2021 for 295. And you still see here is Zillow's guesstimate of 309 is what they feel like it is currently worth. So right now, we're just documenting that. As you see here, these 4 pillars or 4 boxes here will be the comparables. So as you see here, I'm just writing down these numbers, and what you'll really kind of do is get to is taking the amount the property was sold for and dividing that by the square footage, which will give you the average square foot sold. So that's pretty much what we're doing here. Just going through the available properties based on their dates as well. We typically try to keep them within a 9 month period or sooner. Sooner is better because the market can change. As you know, right now, going through this fake pandemic, we have these numbers have been really just jumping, and we're at like the top and the highest market we've ever seen. So as you can see, things can definitely change drastically pretty quickly. So you want to try to stay within numbers that keeps the place close to the comparables based off of how recent or the recent sales, I should say. So you see here, we're just placing in the price per square footage, and then moving forward, we're going to be doing the same thing for the following properties. So you just see an idea of what type of properties I'm looking for. I like to also make sure I go through the photos and different things like that because things vary. Properties may have sold within that area, but let's say it's a foreclosure would be a bad comparison. Let's say it's possibly a property that needs a lot of work and renovation. That would also be a bad comparable because you're comparing it to a property that's undone compared to the property that you're looking to seek or purchase, which should be done, especially if you're going the FHA route or the first time home buyer route, or any loan down payment route. You're most likely going to need to be move-in ready due to the stipulations and regulations. So as we're looking through here, we're still looking and trying to stay within that area. We're still looking and spreading through. As you see here, now we're going to check some photos, get a better view and understanding of what type of property this is. And from the looks of it, it looks move-in ready. A little dated, but generally speaking, the value is probably pretty close to what this should be sold for. So you want to spread around. Take a look. Like I said, you're looking at the sold date, trying to look for the the most recent comparables. And with this, the way Zillow kind of spreads it out, they will actually give you the most recent sell dates um, from the top to bottom. So as you see here, we're just kind of walking through, looking at the properties and trying to compare and contrast based off of bedroom count, bathroom count, as well as square footage, and make sure it's compared or as close as comparable to our 36 Monroe, which is at the top of the header of our page. So this is basically what you want to be doing at any point when you're dealing with trying to find the square footage to get a value for a property. It's basically simple steps, same thing, just over and over. You'll be doing the same thing for the next 4. And ideally, you would want to find at least 4 properties to compare it to get the best average. Sometimes more is fine as well, but usually, like I said, try to do at minimum of 4. Sometimes you won't be able to get 4, as in certain locations, some people don't really sell, right? There's some places where some people don't want to move, so you might not find anything recent comparable to compare the property to, which could be a good and a bad thing, right? Because at the end of the day, although it is good based on the fact that no one wants to leave that area, that means their demand for that location is most likely pretty high. But the bad side of it is the fact that you won't be able to find something to compare it to and get a actual average price per square footage for this current time and day. So there's ways around it, but that'll be another different day, different story. But we're just keeping it simple today, and just walking through the things necessary that you would need, and what to look for when you're trying to look for these properties to compare whatever subject property you're looking to buy. So really just definitely make sure if there are photos available to look through the photos, get a better understanding of what type of property you're looking at. Sometimes the low comps is low due to, like I said before, foreclosures or bad condition. So you want to make sure you're comparing the property to something that's pretty close. The reason why it's called comparables, So as you see here, we have our third property to compare it to. Literally repeating the same steps over and over, and repetition is key. As you continue to do this day in and day out, I'd suggest at least once a week, once a day, depending on how quickly you're looking to purchase. This is just something you'll get better at as you continue to repeat. So one thing to also be wary of for some of those who are not in markets that have multifamilies, you might be focusing strictly on single families and may need to get into a single family and can still rent rooms out to make some extra income, so that the property is solely not a liability. Um, there is the different tabs with Zillow, and they have the calculators as well as other options to filter for exact properties. So as you see here, we have the subject property. Um, Looks pretty good. It looks like they've added some updates to the kitchen, bathroom, and redone the hardwood floors. So that's something you would be really looking to compare it to. That would be your ARV price point, something that's completely finished, move-in ready. That these type of properties are being sold at the top of the market price. So those are what you're looking to compare it to in order to get the ARV for the property you're looking to purchase if it move-in ready. So as you see here, in regards to the filter, if you're dealing with strictly single families, um, the style homes do matter. So you're not going to compare a cape to a bungalow or a cape to a ranch. Those styles of homes are completely different, and depending on the market, can definitely shift the price points based off of what's favored in that location. So for those who are looking for single families, these tools still work, but you just want to make sure you filter and get more close to exactly what you need. So now here we have found all 4 properties, and have got a price paid per square foot for all 4. So next steps from here would literally be just taking your calculator in order to get the average price per paid square foot, totaling all these properties. So you'll take all price per paid square foot amounts, add them up, and being that we're dealing with 4 properties, we divide it by 4, which gives us the average price per paid square foot of 86. And from there, you will now be taking the subject property, which is 36 Monroe, and dividing or multiplying, my apologies, the square footage by the average price paid per square foot, which will then get you your ARV, which is your after repair value. So now we have this subject property totaling at 330,000. So fairly simple. Now we have a value for the property, and then we can compare what the rates and how much you're getting for rent and see if that property even makes sense. So family, I appreciate you guys. One love. Let's get this done.
Hey, oh, oh, hey, 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 oh. All right, listen, let's get to it. All right. And don't mind me too. I just woke up. I look crazy. But I was feeling, I was feeling motivated. So let me get in here, get wet little eye boogers up my eye. You did? You did? All right, so I'm tripping though. So I'm a big ass kid, so it's all good.